Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here with me. Today, you're going to learn the 3 pillars of teaching your toddler to talk. I'm going to be showing you the exact framework that I use to improve a toddler's language skills. You'll learn specific techniques and tips that you can put into action right away with your toddler. By the end of this presentation, you'll understand how to create a plan that will really move the needle on your toddler's talking. I'm also going to be sharing with you a new resource that really helps you put all of this together. So, if you're noticing that your toddler's language is a little bit behind, I want you to know that you're not alone. In fact, 10 to 20% of 2-year-olds are considered late talkers. So you know what a late talker is, right? They're not saying many words. They're not really putting a lot of words together. Some late talkers have difficulty understanding. And really, they're just not talking as much as their peers. You might, go to the playground and realize that other kids their age are asking for things and calling for their mom to look at them and things like that. And your child is not using that many words. And that can be hard, right? You feel like you're missing something. Maybe you're doing something wrong. It could be frustrating and demoralizing and challenging. And I've been there, and I'll tell you a little bit about that as we go on. Now, before we continue, I have a quick reminder. If you have any concerns about your toddler's communication skills, have them evaluated by a speech pathologist. A speech therapist is an essential member of the team to help your toddler learn to talk if they are having some difficulty. That said, so are you. You are an essential member of the team. You are an essential person for helping your toddler learn to talk. In fact, I would even say that you're the best person to teach your toddler to talk. And I'll tell you a little more about that as we go on as well. So you know the most about your child. You know what your child likes. You know what gets them excited and motivated. You know what frustrates the heck out of them. You know what is interesting to them. You know what they do all day. You know what would be important for them to be communicating about. You know their daily routine. In short, you are the expert on your child. Not only that, but you're with your child for key moments during the day. Even if your child's with another caregiver for a chunk of the day, you're still doing things like putting your child to sleep at night, getting them dressed in the morning, maybe giving them a bath and giving them dinner and having meals together and maybe changing their diaper. These are moments where you get one-on-one interaction, and they're really key. These are important opportunities to be working on your child's communication. And really, the research supports this. So newer research shows that toddlers make the most progress in their communication skills when their parents are the ones really driving the intervention. So there's this whole new model called the coaching model where speech pathologists teach parents what to do in order to improve their child's communication skills. And I've really found this to be true, that with a little bit of expert knowledge, parents are unstoppable. They have so much capability to help their children learn to talk when they know a little bit more about language development in general. So, things I'm not going to be telling you today. I'm not going to tell you to talk more to your child. I'm not going to tell you to read more books with them or to sit on the floor and play more with your toddler. Don't get me wrong. Those are awesome things to be doing, and I hope you're doing all those things. But in this presentation, we're going to get a little bit more specific. Those are kind of general pieces of advice that you've probably heard before. Tell me, have you guys heard these before? Are these things that people have told you to do? Jana says yes. Yep, Casey's already doing all these things. Awesome. Great. Okay, so I'm so glad that you're already doing these things, but we're going to take a little more of a sophisticated approach to helping toddlers learn to talk. But before we do that, I would just love to know a little bit about who you are and how old your child is, maybe where you're from, anything you'd like to share, just so we can kind of see who's here and if we have anything in common. Okay, 19 months old, awesome. Little one, 22 months, 3-year-old, great. 2.5, awesome. So what I'm going to be showing you today really helps a child of any age. This framework can help children who are just starting to talk, children who already have a lot of words, and anywhere in the middle. I'd like to introduce myself as well. So my name is Sam. I'm a speech pathologist in New Jersey. I live with my husband and my 3 little ones. Milo is 5, Elliot is 2.5, and Jocelyn is 9 months. I created Toddler Talking Tips about 1.5 years ago, which was just a very simple Instagram page and Facebook page to start, where I shared strategies and ideas and encouragement for parents who were having concerns about their toddler's communication and wanting to help them. The reason I did this is because I felt like there was so much knowledge that I had as a speech pathologist that parents could really make so much use of. And I wanted to get that information into the hands of the people who really were the most influential in their toddlers' lives. So I created Toddler Talking Tips. I've created tons of resources for parents. I have a Facebook page, which is an awesome community called My Talking Toddler. And I also have programs and courses for parents who want to go a little bit further in understanding and helping their children learn how to talk. But I am not just a speech pathologist, I'm also a mother. And I was there when my little one, Elliot, was 14 months, 16 months, 18 months, and those words were just not coming. And I remember, being up at night worrying that those words would never come. It certainly felt like that. And wondering if there was something more going on, if I missed something, should I be doing more? And I know that parents very rarely actually cause their child's communication disorder, but when you're experiencing it, it's hard not to feel guilt or worry or like in some way I was doing something wrong. And more than anything, I just wanted to hear his voice. I just wanted to know what he was thinking. I wanted to have a conversation with my little boy. So I remember that struggle, and it really brought about an opportunity in that I was able to take what I knew as a speech pathologist and kind of boil it down to what really worked for me as a mom to help my little boy. So I was able to think about everything that I used professionally and apply the things that worked for our family and that would work in the home setting to Elliot. And I have to tell you, he did awesome. He's 2.5 now and he's talking up a storm. I'm going to show you a little video. This is not the most earth-shattering video of a child talking, but I'm going to show you a little video of Elliot talking just the other day while we were playing, just so you can see how far he's come. Elliot, what are you doing?
I'm in the box.
Why?
Flying into the air with my holders right here.
You're flying through the air with the holders?
And right here.
So, is your box an airplane?
Yeah. I have them of leaves.
Where are you going to go?
And then down to that.
To Jossy's? You're going to go to Jossy right there? Shh. So, maybe not the best video, but can I tell you how hard it is to get a video of a 2.5-year-old talking? Even though he talks all day long. He always wants the phone or just doesn't talk when I have the camera on. In any case, you get the idea that he's really using a lot of words, long sentences, lots of clauses, doing great. So I show you this not to brag that my kid talks. I want to show you the opportunity here. I want to show you how these strategies really do help and how far my child has come by using them. Oops. Okay, so I want you to know that there is so much you can do to help your toddler learn to talk. You are going to help your child so much. And with that, I'm going to show you the approach that you came here to learn, the 3 pillars of teaching your toddler to talk. Here they are. The first pillar is skills. This is what your child can do, what they're capable of. The second pillar is strategies. This is what you do or say to support the skills or to bring the skills about. The third pillar is activities, and this is just the context. The activities are not as important as the skills and strategies, but it is important to identify some activities when you create a plan, and we'll talk a little more about that. All right, let's dive into each of the pillars so you understand a little more of what we're talking about. Pillar 1 is skills. Here is a very incomplete list of some of the skills that a child needs to have mastered in order to be talking at a higher level. So, paying attention, getting started, interacting and engaging with other people, asking for things, understanding what people are saying, copying them, and then using words, combining words. But I want you to notice that all of the bolded skills here are things that a child needs to be able to do even before any words emerge. So none of the bolded things actually have to do with words coming out of your child's mouth necessarily, but they are all so important. I call these foundational skills, and it's really important to think about all the things that a child must be able to do before they're able to use words. If you think about building a house, right? If you think about teaching your toddler to talk is like building a house. You need to have the foundation in place. You need the foundation, the walls, the doors, all of the siding, the windows, everything needs to be there. And that would be things like those cognitive skills, those social skills, understanding language. All of those foundational skills have to be in place before you can put the roof on, before you can get the words going. So if the roof is the words and you try to get those words going before you have those foundational skills in place, that roof is just going to fall right to the ground, right? So it's important to build up those basic skills first before we even try to get a child to use words. It's also important to think about the progression of these skills. So in general, we can think about a child needing to be able to have strong thinking and play skills first. Then they're able to have some social engagement and interaction. And only once they're interested in other people and interested in getting a message across to other people and understanding what other people are saying, only then do they start to put meaning with words and really understand what people are saying. Now, talking can't happen until a child is able to understand. So you have to know what words mean before you can start using words. And lastly, we worry about how they are pronouncing the words or how the sounds are coming out. But that's just the very top of the pyramid there. So even within each of these skills, there's a progression. So when you understand how the skills kind of fit together, you can understand where your child is on the journey of learning to talk and where we have to meet them in order to help them progress without leaving any of the foundational skills too weak or not strong enough. Okay, so you might be saying, great, how do I figure out what skills to work on? This is where that speech therapy evaluation comes in handy. Speech therapists are trained to help identify the skills that your toddler needs in order to progress. That said, I put a lot of stock into the intuition of parents. I think you know your child, and once you understand what the skills are, you can really identify where your child's skills are breaking down. In addition, there are books and other resources that you can use and online resources, such as the resource I'm going to be telling you about at the end of this presentation. So some questions you might want to ask yourself when you're trying to identify what skills your toddler needs help with. How does my child communicate right now? What is challenging for my child? And what is my child just starting to do? Here's a little tip. The best skills to work on are the ones where your child is just starting to do that, where it's an emerging skill. Your child does it sometimes, but not all the time, not in all contexts. That's a skill you really want to strengthen up in order to help push them along in their progression of all these skills. Okay, let's just pause for a second. Any questions on Pillar 1? Okay, great. All right, let's move on. Good. Okay, I'm glad that you're getting it. Awesome. Okay, pillar 2. Pillar 2 is strategies. Now, strategies are specific techniques that you do to help improve or bring about a skill. There's strategies for every skill, and oftentimes there's multiple strategies you can use to build up a skill, and there may be multiple skills that are improved by using a particular strategy. Here are some examples. Giving choices. Using more statements than questions. So sometimes parents have a tendency to ask a lot of questions like, what's this? Or tell me what you see. Or what are you eating? Just a lot of questions. And that can be a little too much pressure for toddlers who don't quite have the words to answer them yet. So one strategy is just using more statements, just noticing things instead of asking things. Another strategy that you'll see in a moment is holding items to your mouth when you label them to help your child strengthen the association between what the sound is for the object, what the word is, and what your mouth has to do to make those sounds. And another strategy is adding a word. So if your child is already saying some words, you can repeat a word, repeat what they say, and add a word to it. So for example, if they say car, you might say fast car or go car go, right? All right. These are just a couple of examples. There are a ton of strategies. So I'm going to give you some video examples of using strategies with Elliot. This is from almost a year ago. He was, this last May, he was like 21 months. I was super pregnant, but I'm going to show you a couple of videos of me using some strategies with Elliot. Okay. So the first video, I'm giving him choices. We're having snack and I'm just offering 2 choices. I'm labeling both things and you'll see that he requests by pointing. And once he requests what he wants, I repeat the word a few times. Do you want the cracker or the orange? Cracker? You want the cracker. Here's the cracker. Crunchy cracker. Okay. Oops. In the next video, I'm using modeling and pausing to try to help Elliot imitate an action. So when we talk about those progressions and what skills come first, imitating an action comes before imitating words. So in this scenario, Elliot and I are playing and I have a little toy boy and he has a little toy girl. So I model the action that I want him to repeat. I want him to copy, and then I pause and I give him an opportunity to copy it. Also, you'll notice that we have similar toys, so we can kind of copy each other, which is another strategy. So take a look. Look, the boy jumps. Jump, jump, jump. The girl jumps. Right, so because I modeled something engaging like that with a toy that he had in his hand, and I gave that little pause, he went right back and copied exactly what I did, which was awesome. Okay, in the next video, I'm using a strategy called verbal routines. This is where you say the same thing every time you do an action to the point where it becomes almost automatic or expected. So in this video, I'm using a very common verbal routine, which is just ready, set, go. Right, so if I say ready, set, you know it's coming next, right? You almost want to jump out of your seat and say go. And Elliot is kind of the same way here. So even though he wasn't using a lot of words, you'll hear that he does come out with go because I use that very familiar verbal routine with him. Oh, ready, set, go! Woo! My turn. Ready, set, go, choo-choo! Go, choo-choo! Elliot's turn. Okay, and in this video, I'm using a strategy called play sounds. Sounds are a lot easier to imitate than full words. So in this video, Elliot points to a mouse in the book and wants me to name it or tell him what it is. I name it, and then I also say eep, eep, eep to give him the opportunity to practice imitating a sound.
Bobby. Mommy.
Mousy. Eep, eep, eep. Turn the page. And lastly, in this video, I'm using that strategy I mentioned before where I hold an item to my mouth to help him understand that I'm putting a word with an object. And this helps him repeat the word as well because it draws attention to my mouth so you can see what I'm doing.
Ooh.
The girl has a bow.
Bow?
Bow. The girl has a bow. Okay, so we just looked at 5 strategies. Okay? These are just examples. There are tons of strategies you can use. But in these scenarios, I was using these specific strategies because I wanted to work on certain skills that were appropriate for Elliot at that time. So when you're thinking about what strategies you might want to be using, you can ask yourself, how can I encourage this particular skill? What kind of support does my child need? And how can I create opportunities for that skill to emerge? So we really want to think about how strategies are connected to skills and to intentionally use strategies that are going to support the skills that we've identified to help move our child's talking forward. Okay, I know it's getting a little bit abstract, but I'm going to be giving you some specific examples coming up. So hang with me, okay? Let's talk about pillar 3 first. That's activities. Now, the activities don't matter. I shouldn't say that. The activities matter in that they create a context for the strategies that you're using. So, for example, in the videos we just saw, I gave choices. That was a strategy, but the activity was snack time. That was the context in which I was giving choices. I was using a verbal routine where we were saying ready, set, go, but it wasn't just saying ready, set, go out of the blue. We were pushing trains down a slide. So it gives context. It allows you to use the strategy in natural context, in a natural way, which is the best way for toddlers to learn. Also, when you really nail down what activity you're going to be using, it ensures that you're consistent. So even if you're really busy, you can be sure, okay, I know I'm going to make sure I use those choices during snack time. Whenever, I offer him food, I'm going to use choices. And then you don't have to think about working on language all day long. You can just think about it during snack time or when you're offering food. So choosing activities ensures that you're consistent and that you're using the strategies often enough throughout the day, but without it being something that you always have to be thinking about or always feel like you have to be on. Now here's the good thing. You're already an expert on the activities because these are things that you do every day. Activities don't have to be anything special, right? They don't have to be a craft that you found on Pinterest or sitting at a table doing flashcards, right? That doesn't give you any natural context. These are things like bathing your child, getting them dressed, putting on shoes, getting in the car, unpacking the diaper bag, whatever it is, things that you do every day. And you already know what these are. You already know how to follow your child's lead and notice what your child is interested in, and you know what works for your family. So when you're thinking of what activities you may want to use when you're creating a plan, you want to think, when do we already interact every day? Which activities does my child enjoy? And when is my child ready to learn? Right? So let's say you get your child dressed every morning. Great, that would be an awesome time to implement some strategies. But wait, my child runs away from me when I try to get them dressed. They make a game of making me chase them from room to room, and it's a stressful, frustrating time for both of us. Maybe that's not a great time to be working on their talking. So it's your choice, right, when you decide to work on the strategies or to use the strategies. So try to pick times that are kind of conducive to learning. All right, so here's how the 3 pillars fit together. You have your skills, the things that you want your child to be able to do, and you pick strategies that will help build up those skills. And then you can think about what activities would be ideal for using those strategies and give you the most opportunities to bring out those skills. So can you kind of see how the 3 pillars fit together to help you create a plan that will help you move your child in the direction of talking more? All right, Casey's with me. Good. Okay, thank you, Heather. Awesome. Great. Okay, good. I'm glad you guys get it. So you see how they kind of work together so nicely? Now I'm going to give you some specific examples so that you can see how you might create a plan that would fit in your day, but also be really specific and really intentional in helping your child with the exact thing that they need help with. So here's the first example. Let's say your child needs a little bit of help with attention, right? You've noticed that they are bouncing around a lot from one thing to another. It's really hard to kind of engage them and get them interested in just one thing. So you want to work on their attention skills or their concentration. One strategy you can use is using close-ended toys. So these are things that have kind of a definitive endpoint. So for example, a shape sorter, right? The endpoint is that you've gotten all those little blocks through the holes into the bin or into the ball. Even like Mr. Potato Head is a great close-ended toy. Yes, there's, more than one way you can make a face, but in the end, you want to have a face on the potato, right? That's the strategy, to have a toy that has like an ending that is known. And you can even model and show what the determined ending is. So the activity you choose is an inset puzzle. You can see in the background here, one of those puzzles where each piece has like a specific place to go. And you pick one that's really interesting to your child. So your child might be really into vehicles. You pick an inset puzzle with vehicles in it. That way you can use the strategy of having a close-ended toy in order to support your child's attention skills. Let's look at another example. In this case, the skill that we want to work on is helping a child get started or initiate. Sometimes children have the words or they know what response you want, but it's hard for them to just get going. So the strategy that we're going to use here to get the child going is called an expectant pause. That's where we kind of set the child up with something that either we want them to imitate or we want them to complete a verbal routine or a song or something that they know the end of. And we do that pause. So we lean forward, we might raise our eyebrows and look at them and open our mouths a little bit and kind of just wait, make it a little awkward, but like you are expecting them to do something. So that's the strategy. And let's say your child feels good when they are moving around. Your child likes to move their body. So you decide we're going to try this strategy during Ring Around the Rosie. So maybe we do Ring Around the Rosie a bunch of times and your child knows it. And then you go to the end and you say, we all fall. And you put in that expectant pause. That gives your child the opportunity to say down, right? Which will help them with the skill of getting started, getting those words out. Okay, the next example is for a child who may have some difficulty understanding instructions or knowing what words mean. So the strategy that you could use here would be connecting words to gestures. So by that, I mean using a gesture or using your hands to help your toddler understand what you're saying. So let's say you are busy, you are working from home, you have other children to take care of, but you can commit to your child's diaper changes, right? You know you're going to be with your child one-on-one a couple times a day at least to change their diaper. So you can say, okay, this is a good time for me to focus on using this strategy. So maybe during diaper changes, you give your child the diaper cream, and when it's time to put it on, you put out your hand, you point to the diaper cream, and you say, give me the cream. You point, you maybe touch your hand, give me the cream. So you're teaching your child the phrase give me by using some visual cues, by using your hand and your fingers to gesture what it means. In this way, you're taking the activity of diaper changes and you're using a strategy consistently so that you can help build the skill of understanding instructions. Is this making sense? How we can really put this into action? Great. Awesome. Okay, cool. All right, let's go on. We have one more example, and I think this one will really drive it home. Let's say the skill you want to work on here is using words to request. You want your child to be able to tell you what they want. So a strategy that can support that skill and while still giving opportunities to practice it is giving choices. You saw the choice giving video example earlier, right? Let's say you want to give choices. You know that getting dressed is a great time of day for your child. So when you get them dressed, instead of just picking out a shirt and putting it on your kid, you pick out 2 shirts, you hold them up, and you use a word or 2 to describe each. So you might say, do you want Mickey or flowers, while you hold up the shirts? Then your child has the opportunity to request, hopefully by words, but if they point, that's okay too. So you've used the strategy of giving choices to help support your child's ability to use words to request. And you've chosen an activity that's really conducive to implementing that strategy. Okay. Are you guys clear with me here? I know it's a lot of information. It can seem a little bit tricky, but when we kind of break it up and think, okay, what are the skills we need to work on? What strategies can we do to support it? And when can we put those strategies into place? You can kind of see how a plan starts to emerge. So I hope you're understanding how much you can help your toddler talk once you have a handle on all 3 pillars. What are the skills they really need right now to help push them forward? What are the strategies you're going to use to support those skills and to grow those skills? And what activities can you put those strategies into place with? So ask yourself, what if you always knew the next step to take to help your toddler talk? When you know these pillars, you know that. You know what will move the needle ahead. You know what will get your child to the next level because you're being intentional by picking skills that are emerging and that are going to push them ahead, by picking strategies that you know will support that skill and improve that skill, and putting it all together with an activity that you know works for you and your child. That's why I created the Toddler Talking Track. I have so much faith in parents to be able to put these things together and apply them with their child. You are with your child so much more than your child is in speech therapy. You have so much more potential to impact your child's communication skills and overall development. So I really want this information in the hands of parents. So I created this online parent education program. And it's a combination of live sessions. You get 6 sessions with me over Zoom in a very, very small group, as well as on-demand videos. And you also get tons of bonuses and extra resources and support that we'll talk about as we go on. But the purpose is for you to really become the best person to teach your toddler to talk, to really live up to that responsibility and to make sure that you're doing everything you can to move your child ahead and avoid some of the pitfalls that come when your child gets older and may still have some of these difficulties. We want to avoid that by getting in there early and helping your child right now. So the Toddler Talking Track starts this Friday, March 19th, and it is a small group program where you get a lot of individualized attention. It's built so that you understand the 3 pillars so that you can maximize your child's success. And you'll learn lots of evidence-based tools, and you'll learn how to apply them for you in a way that works for your family. Here's how the program works. It's 5 weeks of modules. So every week you get a brand new module, and each module has 7 to 10 videos in it, as well as written resources to help guide you along the way. Now, the videos are short. They are 3 to maybe 10 minutes at most, but they're really created to get right to the point so that you can learn what you need to learn that week. So 7 to 10 videos each week, just about a video a day, sometimes a little bit more. And at the end of the week, we get together as a small group and have a video session. So we review the material. You have a time to ask all your questions. We talk about how things are going. And you get me really in your back pocket to help guide you and support you through this process. The track is really built around these 3 pillars in addition to your expertise. And I'm going to very quickly go through each module each week to show you how it relates to the pillars that you just learned. So module 1 is called the foundation. And this is really all about you, your expertise, what you know about your child. You're going to get clear on your child's strengths and how to leverage them. We're going to work on mindset a little bit so you can ditch that mom guilt and the comparisons and really focus on what you can do to help your child and how much you will help your child. We're also going to talk about identifying the biggest learning opportunities for your child and thinking about those activities a little bit as well. Then week 2, module 2, it's called the knowledge. This is the nitty gritty. This is the meat and potatoes here. We really get into understanding how toddlers really learn to talk. And you'll get an opportunity to understand the key principles that I teach parents that help drive language acquisition, that parents can be doing to really maximize their child's abilities and success going forward. You'll understand enough that you can identify which skills have the biggest impact on your toddler's talking. Remember that progression we talked about before and all of those foundational skills? You'll learn how those all fit together and where your child may be right now so that you can focus on the areas that will really make the biggest difference in your child's communication. Okay, modules 3 and 4, or weeks 3 and 4, are where we really learn the strategies. There are so many strategies, so we need 2 weeks for this. Module 3 is the listening toolkit. This is where you learn how to support play skills, thinking skills, understanding and listening. All of those foundational skills, the whole foundation of the house, right? Then in module 4, you learn the talking toolkit. That's where we put the roof on the house. You learn how to help your child learn how to copy, how to use words by themselves, how to use words for all different kinds of communication functions, and of course how to put words together and start using longer phrases. Now, some parents say, oh, well, my child already listens. I don't need that module 3. And I want to tell you that even children who are starting to talk, often if there is a delay, they benefit so much from really fortifying those listening, play, and social skills. Just improving that foundation makes it so much easier to put that roof on. Okay, module 5, the last week of the track is called the plan. This is where we put it all together. So I teach you my skills first framework, and you'll decide exactly what you're going to do to help push your child forward. You're going to decide those next steps, those actions that you're going to take. You're going to write out a plan, and you're going to have accountability with me in order to implement it. That's why I also created the 6th video session so that you can really see how it's going, troubleshoot with me, and we can decide if we need to make any changes to the plan as you go. By the end of the track, you understand how to implement the strategies that will help your child learn to talk. You'll understand exactly what you need to do to keep moving your child forward. And the best part is that once they achieve the skills that you were working on, you'll know how to create a plan to move them to the next level. So you get a repeatable process that you can keep using for future communication challenges. In addition to all of that, there's a ton of bonuses. So you get a workbook, you get the skill bank and strategy guide, which is awesome. It gives you all the skills and tons of strategies for each skill. So it's kind of like a cheat sheet to get you through putting these pillars together. Lots of activity ideas for your daily routine and how to get through some more challenging routines. You get an ebook about how to talk to your child, and you get to join our private Facebook group. But best of all, you get me in your corner. I'm in your back pocket through the whole Toddler Talking Track. I'm here for you. I'm here to support you, and you can reach out to me at any time when you're in the track. So I want to share with you some of the things that other parents have said after going through Toddler Talking Track. One thing I want to point out is that some of the parents found this extremely valuable when they started early intervention. I had a few families who were really starting early intervention right when they started the track or a few weeks later. And what they said was that it felt like they learned how to speak the same language as their speech therapist, so they could really partner together and really help drive their child's communication gains and help drive the plan of care as well. So the parents that have taken it have seen a lot of improvement in their children's confidence, in what the words that they're using, and in their own confidence as well. Okay, let's talk about the investment. So with Toddler Talking Track, you get a lot. You get 6 live sessions with a speech pathologist, me. You get 40 lessons on video, plus all of these written bonuses, the community, and so much more. So for all of this, the Toddler Talking Track costs $497. I know that can feel like a big investment, but I want you to think big picture here. Having 6 video sessions with a speech pathologist can cost up to $100+ each session. So think of the value you're getting there. Additionally, when you know what to do to help your child, you are putting your child on the path to success. Unfortunately, many children who do not have intervention for their language skills as toddlers go on to have continued difficulty with things like their literacy or learning how to read, their social skills, their academic skills, and their higher level language skills. When you get in there early and you learn how to help your toddler, you are sidestepping a lot of these challenges that could be coming in the future. So this is an investment for your child. It's also an investment in time and also effort. Now, I've really created the Toddler Talking Track to be for busy parents like myself. I get it. We don't have a lot of extra time. But it does require that you make this a priority, and I know your children are your priority already. So there is also a payment plan available for the Toddler Talking Track. So right now you can get started for just $247, and then another month the remaining $247 will be billed. So you don't have to do the whole $497 all in one shot. Remember, the Toddler Talking Track is to help you get clear on all 3 pillars so that you can help your child move forward with their language and communication skills. You'll learn what to work on, those skills. You'll learn how to work on it, the strategies, and you'll learn a plan to put your new tools into action. You will be able to do this. I have so much faith in parents to learn these things because you have so much insight and such a strong intuition about your child, and you are already the expert. But it's so important to get in there early and to really work on these skills while your child is young. The earlier, the better, and the easier it is to help your child continue to build their skills and really find success. So I want to teach you what you need to know to get your toddler talking, and I want you to commit to learning that. I have the tools to help you unlock your child's success. That's what I want to teach you. Remember, you are the best person to teach your toddler to talk. You are the one who is going to make the biggest impact in your toddler's communication and overall development. So if you're ready to dive in and really learn how to live up to that title, I hope you'll join me for the Toddler Talking Track. It starts this Friday, March 19th, and it's going to be a good time. We always have fun with the track. We're going to have a nice little community. It's a very, very small group, so you'll really get to know everyone and have a lot of access to me. So I'd like to open it up for questions. While you're thinking, I will just give you some of the questions that I hear a lot of. So one question that I get a lot is, how long do I have to complete the track? So I will say I would love for everybody who takes it to stay on schedule so we can have our weekly meetings and everybody's completed all of the module. but life happens, right? And that's okay. So when you take the Toddler Talking Track, you have access to the materials and all the content for as long as the life of the program. I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon, which means that it's yours pretty much indefinitely. That means if you have younger children or future children, you can use it with them. And if you need to slow down the pace, that's fine. It's all at your fingertips when you need it. Okay, great question, Heather. So when are the live sessions? When do we do our video chats? So what we're going to do is once everybody is registered, we have our Facebook group and there's a poll in the Facebook group so we can decide what is the best time for everybody. I really, really do everything I can to make sure we find a time that everybody can participate in because it's such an important part of the track to get that live face-to-face time together. So, even though we're all busy, we're going to find a time that works. Great. Thank you for that question. Okay, everything is digital. So everything, as soon as you register, you'll get a link to log in and you'll have the course at your fingertips. All of the videos will be there. Well, I shouldn't say that. You get the videos each week. So each week you'll get a new set of videos into your right onto your login page. And you'll also have all of the documents to download as well. Okay, any other questions? Okay, all right. Well, thank you so much for coming tonight. I hope that this was really useful for you. Whether or not you decide to get the track, I hope that this kind of showed you a whole new way to approach teaching your toddler to talk. You can really be so much more intentional and so much more specific than just those kind of general strategies, which of course are important. Keep talking to your kids, keep reading to them, keep playing with them, but try to think about how you can work on the specific skills that your toddler needs extra help with in order to leverage their strengths and to move them towards better communication. All right, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can always reach me on Messenger or email me, Samantha@toddlertalkingtips.com. Thank you again for staying through this presentation, and I hope to see you in the track. Bye.